Hello, my name is Nathan Broeckelman, and I'm just going to talk about myself here a little bit in my intro to school admin PowerPoint, and then we'll get into the mission and vision statements. Um, First of all, the first middle picture up there, that's my beautiful family, my wife Hannah. We've been married for 11 years, and our three kids are Cashton, who's 8, he's on the right there, Declan in the glasses, he is 6, and then Taylor in the middle, you can kind of see her in there, she is 4. Another thing about our family is we're not expecting, but we are looking to adopt or some maybe foster. We're currently finishing up our foster classes here in the next couple weeks, so hopefully we can just bless some other children and welcome them into our family. The other pictures are our dogs. They're not all the pets we have. We have some cats as well, but they're just some outdoor cats. We live on an acre just north of Great Bend, and the cats just kind of help keep the mice away. But our 3 dogs, the 2 on the left, the miniature pinchers, that's Jax and Kaya. They've been with my wife and I ever since we've been married. And we just recently picked up Miska on the right. She's a husky mix. She's half Siberian and half Alaskan husky. The kids absolutely love her, and we were a little worried at first how it would go with being a husky, and she's been everything but wonderful. She makes us have a little brighter outlook when it comes to getting another pup when our miniature pinchers pass away, as they are getting kind of up there with being 11 years old. But Miska's just turned 1 year old. But so that's kind of an overview of our family. A little bit more about me and my family. I'm 31 years old. I graduated from Norton Community High School, and then I went to Kansas State University, where I graduated with 2 bachelors, one in mathematics and the other in secondary education. And now I'm currently attending Fort Hays State to get my master's in building administration. I've taught for 8 years, and I've taught math all 8 years. My first 3 years, I was in Greeley County High School in Tribune, Kansas. I taught 7th and 8th grade math, along with pre-algebra, algebra 1, and a basic algebra class for some seniors who needed to get something finished up for them. I'm currently at Great Bend High School. I teach algebra 1 and consumer math. I really love the consumer math series. We use Dave Ramsey's foundation of personal finance, so that's something we try to live off of. So it's kind of nice to be able to just teach it to some high school kids, even though a lot of times the kids that are taking that class kind of really, a lot of the kids that don't take the class need to probably be taking it before they go to high school, or go to college. The next thing about me is I'm the head wrestling coach here at Great Bend High School. I've coached wrestling for 13 years. My first 5 years, I coached at Manhattan High School while I was going to school at Kansas State University. I was an assistant coach there, and I was also a paraprofessional while I was going to K-State at Manhattan High School. And so that's really what kind of got me into the education system. I actually started out in computer engineering, but after I started working at the high school and coaching, I decided I would rather work with kids and try to help shape them for the future. And so I've been a head coach for 8 years. The first 3 years was at Greeley County High School. I restarted the program out there, and then I was fortunate enough to land the job here at Great Bend High School. Just a couple pictures there on the left. That's our Twitter handle there, Panther Wrestling. The girl on the top right, that's Kyle Mogbo. She's going to be a senior for me this next year. That picture was taken right after she pinned her 3rd and 4th place match at regionals. That match, it's not really the reason if you're a coach or you understand how team scoring works, but it was the reason in that moment why we won the regional championship, which was the first ever regional championship in girls wrestling history, as this was the first year girls wrestling was a sport here in the state of Kansas. And then there on the bottom left, or the big one, that's the girls that qualified for state, along with my 2 assistant girls coaches. We were state runners up this year in the first ever girls wrestling state wrestling tournament. Otherwise, as far as on the boys side of things, we took 5th. My last year at Manhattan High School, we were 6A state champions in 2012. A little bit more about my family. We're very active. We go on bike rides. We take our dogs for walks. We go camping. We just absolutely love being outdoors. anytime we can get out there and play, we are constantly out there. A lot of times we'll kick our kids out there just so that they're not trying to get on technology or anything like that. Not that technology is bad necessarily, but we like to try to limit it and just let them go get some bumps and bruises outside. I'm also a DIYer. I've worked a lot of professions on the side, not necessarily during school times, but in the summer times. I worked for a cabinet assembly place where we did cabinets, countertops. I worked for a landscaper. I worked for construction. You basically everything but plumbing. I have worked with somebody for a summer or two. So a lot of times I try to obviously do things on my own. The bottom picture there is a picture of a playhouse. The slide and swing set was given to us. I just basically plopped that on the ground. Was able to haul the whole thing home. Just had to disconnect the swing set part. But then the back side of it, you can kind of see it. We added on I guess you can call it a tree house. It's more of a deck around a tree. I didn't connect it to the tree just because I didn't want it to hurt the tree. But that's a tree house that I built for my kids last year, and it's just they absolutely love it. So ultimately, that's what matters, is that they enjoy playing with it. The next thing is I'm very, very competitive. The top picture is me and a group of seniors that I play dodgeball with. We also have I guess they call it an Ironman volleyball tournament. So our Stuco puts on both those tournaments throughout the year, and it's always nice that they make me feel that I'm still athletic enough to compete with the high school kids. But that is the year that we won the dodgeball tournament. It's always a blast being able to, participate in things with the kids, not just coach them or teach them in the classroom. And the last thing is I'm very analytical. I don't usually talk a lot. I know it probably seems like that at this point in the PowerPoint, but I usually very reserved as far as when I say things. I try to analyze everything before I make a statement, especially in something that involves a decision or something that maybe is controversial. So a lot of times I just like to think about it a little bit, make sure I say exactly what I want to say and what I think is true, obviously. So what is mission and vision? The mission is how you would describe your school to others. You'd want to be able to answer these three questions. Whom do you seek to serve? What do you seek to accomplish? And how will you proceed? And the vision is how you hope others will view you and describe some of your highest priorities. So the role and characteristics of both of these. The role of the mission statement is to get everyone in the same school environment on the same page, following a common goal. Some characteristics of a well-written mission is that they are academically focused, objectives are clearly expressed, clearly displayed, present in the classroom, and actively modeled. I know at Great Bend High School we all have a big picture frame. It's probably 12 by 18 with our mission statement in it in our front wall of our classroom where all the students can see it. The role of the vision statement is to describe a school's high-level goals for the future. Some characteristics of a well-written vision is directional, clear, purpose-driven, challenging, unique, vivid, and inspiring. So how do these things work together? When I was reading through the articles, this was the image that popped in my mind was the vision statement is the direction of where your school is going, and the mission statements is the driving force to get there. So in other words, the vision is a roadmap and the mission is your car. A lot of times when you take a new trip or a trip to a place where you're not really familiar, you're going to check your map and you're going to find the best route that you can to make it to the end goal. So developing a mission and vision, you're going to want to research to identify unmet needs and wants in your school. You're going to want to draft a mission and vision based on research and personal priorities. This might be yourself or maybe a smaller group. Then you want to be able to present the draft to staff and others for reviewing, refining, and commenting. You want to make sure you kind of hear the voice of especially your staff and maybe even some community members. And then you want to share the final draft to make sure everyone is reaching for the same common goal. I like this little image, these two images put together here, especially because the stickman had some ties there, all shooting arrows at a target trying to reach the same goal. So developing a mission and vision, what are some things that are, as far as some keys to developing them. Your data, you need to be able to identify needs of your school through research. Technology, you need to be able to explore existing and new technology. Make sure you're using things that are benefiting your school and not just using them to use them. Values, you want to make sure you know your community. Equity, you want to make sure you're freedom from bias and favoritism. Diversity, meet the needs of the differences in the community. Every community is different, so when you're walking into a new community, you want to make sure that you're definitely getting familiar with your community. Digital citizenship, you want to make sure you're using technology responsibly. And then community, you make sure you're asking for input from the community. Especially when it comes to things that maybe like a bond issue, you want to make sure you involve the community. And also the community wants to know, what are you doing as a school? How are you benefiting their children? So problems with vision and mission statements. A lot of times there's criticism. Sometimes it can get outdated or be disconnected. It might have some past values that no longer concern your current school's goals. Maybe it's not clear. It has little impact. Sometimes maybe not all your staff members are bought in, or if you have new staff members, maybe they are not aware of what's going on as far as your mission and vision statements. Lots of different things that affect your mission and vision statements, but we want to make sure that it's clear so that everyone can be on the same page. Our mission statement here at Great Bend High School will provide an educational setting to develop in all students the necessary skills to reach their potential and function effectively in tomorrow's world. I know we are currently working on a new mission statement. I don't believe it is finished yet. That being said, I think the one thing I noticed when I was kind of making sure I had the right mission statement down was on our main page of our high school website. There's a little bit different mission statement on the main page of the USD 428 website compared to what's on the high school page. So I guess one suggestion I might have to our superintendent is to make sure it is all on the same page. And I guess all on the same page as in all the schools are on the same page. Sorry, I'll be honest with you, I had to pull up the questions. I wanted to make sure I answered the questions on our mission statement. Again, we are currently fixing our statement. Hopefully that'll be school-wide. I know we've had input. We've had building-wide meetings as well as individual meetings to discuss the new statement. Your statements need to make sure they support all students and adults, so that they know what they're working, why they're working, and where they're working to, and all your adults need to be on the same page so that everyone's trying to reach for that same common goal. So that is the end of my PowerPoint. Thank you for watching, and I'm excited to get to know you guys and girls.